Welcome back to the ZLINE Kitchen. We continue our march, our trudge towards a delicious Thanksgiving dinner. So I'm gonna make my version of stuffing. Some call it dressing. Sometimes they stuff it in the bird. Sometimes you leave it on the side. Sometimes I've seen it with oysters. Sometimes I've seen it with sausage. If you got a theme, I'm making mine with vegetables. So we're gonna really try to push this one out, okay? So what we have here is gonna be a vegetable stuffing. Really, really simple. I have my fresh herbs again. I have a sourdough bread. I have a Italian bread, right? So I have a bread that's a little more toothsome. I have a softer bread here. So I have two types of bread that I use. Note, I don't toast it. If I had some old stuff lying around, I would put a little bit of crunchy bread in, but for the most part, I'm gonna use this bread to almost make a custard-like texture, okay? I have onions, I have celery, I have carrots, I have salt, pepper, and some butter, okay? And then the real big part here is my turkey stock. So behind me, I've been having my turkey stock simmering all day. This is always on. I get a couple of thighs. Right now I have a couple of thighs in here. All my root veg scrap, my herb scrap, and I just have a really stock that's kind of rolling. I actually have it going for a few days because we're gonna end up using that stock to make a basting liquid. We're also gonna use that stock to make our gravy. Okay, so let's get started on our stuffing. So I have my celery. I'm just gonna kind of, again, chop this up nice and small here. Vegetable stuffing, right? That is not something sometimes people like to put different things in here. I'm really trying to make this into the flavor that's going to allow us to soak up all the turkey juices, to soak up that gravy. And you'll see mine's got a little bit of a custard-like texture to it. And that's going to come from using the two types of bread. Okay, onions go in here. Okay. So we'll start off over here. My pan, I'll bring my pan over. Okay, heating up. A little bit of butter in here. And then in go my vegetables. Okay, my mirepoix, if you will. All right. Let that saute. Now I'm not looking to get any color on these right here. So right as I get them in, a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna use some of my herbs. Okay, so let me grab some of these beautiful herbs. And these ones I'll give a little bit smaller cut on. Okay, so some sage. I'll leave the stems out. I'll pick some of my thyme here. Okay, thyme pick. Again, all my stems go right into the turkey stock. Okay, let's get the thyme chopped up. A little bit of parsley. Now I've preheated my oven to 375 degrees. Okay, and that's what we're going to be able to use to really start this thing up. Some rosemary also. So again, we can kind of roast all these side dishes. We're doing them all separate for you today, but all these can kind of be cooked at the same time, and even getting them a day ahead done is really the kind of key. Again, I'm trying to create a Thanksgiving feast that allows you as the person who's cooking, or your family, whoever's cooking in your family, to be able to sit down, relax, and enjoy themselves. Okay, so in goes the fresh herbs. Grab my spoon. And again, I'm not really necessarily sauteing. I'm just kind of sweating these down a little bit. And to continue that sweating, I'm going to add in my stock. So in goes the turkey stock. Okay. 1, 2. Now, just so you know, that turkey stock is seasoned really well. So I have fresh herbs in there. I have mirepoix. I have all the skins from my onions and root vegetables. I've also seasoned it with salt and pepper, okay? If you put in love into your stock, it's gonna love you back, if you will, okay? So it's really important that we not put in, if you put shoe in there or shoe leather in there, it's gonna come out and taste like shoe leather. So we add quality ingredients to our stock, and it's a great place to catch all the pieces of the things we're not using, okay? So nothing goes to waste. So here we go to the bread. Again, I'm kind of telling you the little secret that I use is two types of bread. You can see how soft this is. This is just an Italian white. And I'm just kind of dicing it. You know, I'm not going through it huge. I'm leaving the crust on, right? We want different textures and flavors. And then I have a sourdough, right? So a local little Truckee sourdough here. Pick your favorite sourdough, does not really matter. Okay, all the crust is the best part. You see this cuts a little bit differently. It's gonna add a different texture. 1, 2. Okay, next up, finish our breads here. Okay, so sounds crazy. We're gonna season the bread. So we're always talking about seasoning. Every time we do a little cooking demo or cooking class, we talk about layering flavors. So we're seasoning that bread to start. Okay, so I have salt and pepper on my bread already. I'm gonna come back over here. Let's take a look at my mirepoix, which is simmering away. Okay, so this is nice and tender. I'm gonna give it a quick taste, make sure. Yep, tastes great. It's got good seasoning in it. I can taste the herbs. I'm gonna go back now, and I'm just gonna dump this back in here, okay? I'm just going back in with my bread. Okay, use my back. So then we'll start to kind of bring this together a little bit. Now I can already tell you that this is gonna need a lot more moisture. So we're gonna come back over to the turkey stock. We'll start to slowly add this in, okay? Almost think of it like a bread pudding. That's the kind of way I like to make the stuffing because I really like the texture to be a little bit different. Okay. All that's going to get soaked up. Mix it around. Now, you could buy these things in the store. I've seen stuffing kits, so on and so forth. But really, this is something that I think could be something that you can, this is great for the kids to make. This is a really simple recipe. And it's a great way to kind of use up anything that's at the house, right? If you had other breads you wanted to use, feel free. If you had different vegetables that you like more, feel free. Add some sausage in, add some bacon in, right? You can't go wrong. So in goes a few more ladles of the stock. Again, I want a nice, really want to have some nice, really kind of want it wet if you want to know the truth. And then we have a couple more little secrets that we use. So I have my pan right here. I love to use a foil pan because this has a tendency to kind of get a little sticky, or a nice casserole dish, okay? I've already know the flavors are already there. In goes the stuffing into the pan. I'm gonna even this out, okay? I can see a little bit of my stock in here. That's exactly what I want. And then I'm gonna add in some butter on the top. So a couple whole little cubes of butter on the top. And then I'm gonna add this part here. Sometimes people don't know, but I like to use plastic wrap and then foil, because it creates a really good barrier to allow you to almost steam to a certain extent, right? So if I steam this, it's gonna really start to set that kind of flavor. It's gonna make for the ability to cook this a lot faster. It's gonna keep everything nice and moist. And then I go foil over the top, okay? Foil over the top. And again, you can make this you can make days in advance. This is a really simple one to go in the oven. So this is gonna go into the oven. I have this, the oven's preheated. It's gonna go in for about, well, I'd probably say an hour and 15 to an hour and a half. Okay, so into the oven. And we'll come back and check on that in just a few minutes. Okay, so let's check on our vegetable stuffing right now. So I have it in our ZLINE oven right here. And what we're gonna do here is pull out the stuffing, okay? So I come over to the side here, and I'm gonna take off the foil and the plastic, but I'm gonna return the stuffing to the oven, have my oven fan on high, and I'm gonna let that cook for another 15 minutes. And really what that's doing is now setting that outside top crust, right? It's like everyone loves a little crust of the chicken, or the skin of the chicken, or the skin of the turkey, or you know, the pizzas everyone loves right now. It's got all the little frico around the corner where it's kind of crispy and crunchy on the outside. That's what we're after on this stuffing. That's kind of where the magic happens, okay? So once we get that crust, you'll be able to kind of tell. I'm gonna take that out, okay? And what you have here is something that really is, in my opinion, a showstopper, okay? So I know, how can stuffing be a showstopper? But you think about it, right? We have this really two delicious breads. We have turkey stock. We're using all these parts. We have vegetables in there. And let's kind of plate this up. So to serve this, you know, you can serve it just right in the casserole dish. But I'm going to cut it out for you just so you can see. I kind of told you that I like that custard-like texture, right? So the custard-like texture comes from almost like a lasagna to a certain extent, right? So it's moist, it's custard-like, right? Look at that crispy edges right on side of here. That right there. Maybe a little bit of herbs on top just for fun. This can be made well in advance, As this sits, it only gets better. Right, you can see the bread, the crusty bread and the soft bread in the middle there. This right here is a dressing that you become known for. I think it'll be really fun for you. You can add your own touches to it, but there's a really simple vegetable stuffing from the ZLINE kitchen to go with our delicious Thanksgiving meal.